Good afternoon. It's time for Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Golf is a huge industry in Florida, and today Business Beat reporter Michelle Coates will tell us the impact this billion-dollar industry has on Volusia County. And later, we'll tell you about savings for your flood insurance. Then you can find out about the important role school resource officers have in school safety, security, and protection. And finally, we'll join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio for a chat with Director of the county's Corrections Division, Marilyn Chandler Ford. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. With school safety a major priority in Volusia County, the Volusia County Council has ratified an agreement that will keep uniformed sheriff's deputies on school campuses for another year. Started more than 25 years ago, this partnership between the Volusia County Sheriff's Office and the Volusia County School Board is designed to provide valuable resources to the school staff while fostering a positive relationship between our youth and law enforcement. Being a school resource deputy is unlike any other assignment in law enforcement. School resource deputies enforce the law to help maintain a safe and orderly learning environment on middle and high school campuses around the county. But the job is so much more. School resource deputies are a unique blend of law enforcement officer, teacher, counselor, friend, advisor, mediator, moderator, mentor, and school volunteer all rolled into one. But according to Sheriff Ben Johnson, safety is job number one for the SRDs.
Well, the School Resource Officer program is a very, very important program. Not only do they provide safety and security for the schools, for the teachers and the students and the parents who come on campus, but they're also mentors for the students. And currently we have 14. And if I had my way, we'd have them at every school in Volusia County because this is such an important program, as I told you, for the safety, security, and the mentorship, and also to work with the at-risk children to try to keep them from going into a life of crime.
In partnership with the school district, the Sheriff's Office has allocated 14 deputies to serve as SRDs. The $1.1 million cost is paid by the school district. To find out more about the school resource program and more about the Sheriff's Office in general, you can visit volusiasheriff.org. Flood insurance rates will drop a whopping 25% in unincorporated areas of Volusia County thanks to a coordinated effort on the part of Volusia County and its municipalities.
Effective October 1st, the 25% discount goes into effect for any new flood insurance policy or any renewal, any flood insurance policy. When they're renewed, that will take effect.
The Volusia County Council recently approved the county-wide integrated floodplain management plan, which was spearheaded by the county's Emergency Management Division and is an integral part of reducing flood risk on a county-wide basis.
Well, Volusia County participates in a program called the Community Rating System. And what that program does is it provides a discount to flood insurance policy holders for different activities that the county undertakes, such as maintaining our drainage system, our ditches, our swales, that kind of thing, providing public information on flood insurance. If somebody needs to know if they're in a flood zone, providing them that information and that sort of thing. And the more activities that we participate in, the higher the discount that flood insurance policyholders receive.
Emergency management staff has been working with local cities, county agencies, and the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council for the past year to develop this impressive plan. In fact, each municipality has its own section where they identify goals to reduce the impact of flooding in their own community. The plan not only identifies areas that are at risk for flooding, it also offers plans to reduce those risks. You can view the floodplain management plan at volusia.org/emergency. If you don't have flood insurance, now is a great time to purchase it. Get the facts by contacting your insurance agent or simply by visiting floodsmart.gov. Unfortunately, thousands of unwanted dogs and cats are killed at area humane societies every year. In fact, the majority of animals that are impounded by the animal control offices of the county and cities are not returned to their owners. The cost to care for these stray animals and dispose of them after the waiting period is a substantial expense. Recently, the Volusia County Council approved the expenditure of $275,000 for the county's annual contracts with the Halifax Humane Society in Daytona Beach and Southeast Volusia Humane Society in New Smyrna Beach. Under those contracts, Volusia County Animal Control will deliver stray animals to the humane societies for humane impoundment and disposition. The humane societies charge the county $85 for a 3-day impoundment, but reimburse the county if the costs are recouped from the animal's owner. Sergio Pacheco, interim director of animal control, said the increasing population of unwanted dogs and cats is a major problem in the county. It's also a big responsibility for county animal control.
It's a major problem to try to control the number of the animals that are out there. We educate some of the residents on spay and neutering some of these animals so we can bring down the numbers. It's very important people understand to spay and neuter their animals.
Volusia County operates a mobile veterinary clinic that low-cost spaying and neutering services to dogs and cats in unincorporated parts of the county and the cities of DeLand and South Daytona. Fees for the Pet Vet Cruiser are based on income and appointments are required. For more information about the Pet Vet Cruiser, you can visit volusia.org/petvet. And now we join Michelle Coates for the Business Beat. Michelle recently checked out the Symetra Tour Championship at LPGA.
I'm Michelle Coates with the Business Beat. We're here inside the Pro Shop at LPGA for the Symetra Tour Championship. The golf industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry for the state of Florida, and LPGA makes its headquarters here in Volusia County.
Economic studies show that golf is a $76 billion industry. In 2007, Florida's direct golf economy was about $7.5 billion. With more than 1,100 courses and several championship golf events, golf in the Sunshine State is more than an enjoyable pastime. It's a key industry contributing to Florida's economy. Locally, leaders are proud to have the LPGA headquarters call Volusia County home. We spoke with Ryan Ronk, Symetra Tour Director, who is also headquartered here.
LPGA stands for Ladies Professional Golf Association. I'm very proud to be headquartered here in Daytona Beach. We have, I think, 60+ employees that work out of the office here.
Founded in 1950, the LPGA was built by 13 pioneering women who envisioned a full professional tour for women golfers. Today, more than half of new members on the LPGA Tour come from the Symetra Tour. The Symetra Tour, the most established women's developmental tour in the world, entered its 33rd year of structured competition in 2013. This year's schedule includes 15 tournaments in 9 states, a tournament purse of nearly $1.8 million, and includes 91 international players representing 31 countries.
Having this tour championship event here at the home of women's golf really made sense for us to do that here in Daytona Beach, and again, all the economic impact that brings. Symetra, who's our tour title sponsor, came on to title sponsor this event. So now it's the Symetra Tour Championship presented by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Embry-Riddle has been a great supporter of this tour for a couple years now.
The final event on the 2013 Symetra Tour schedule has expanded from a 54-hole tournament to a 72-hole grand finale. To celebrate the championship and show the community's appreciation for LPGA and the Symetra Tour, several community events were staged during the tournament week at LPGA International, including the Brown & Brown A Run for Success 5K run and Fashion for Success fashion show presented by Cobb Cole. We talked with the community leader heading those support efforts, Kevin Bowler, President, Daytona Beverages.
This event is about a 3-legged stool. The first leg is the community. we try to create an event that would be engaged and energized and educate our community about the businesses, the charities, and the things that we have here. The second leg is more about economic development. The economic development piece is time to Team Volusia, trying to bring new businesses to community. So you want to go out and seek new businesses. The second is retention. So we have a great company called LPGA here, which we want to demonstrate to them, not just simply in words, but in actions, how important they are to our community. So we have got every major corporation in this town supporting this event. The third leg is charity. And as I mentioned before, through the Boys and Girls Club Michelob Ultra Swing for Success, we have raised $1.6 million. So it's a really successful three-legged stool, which we believe has great sustainability because of the combination of both the Symetra Tour Championship and the Boys and Girls Swing for Success event.
Florida's golf industry generated approximately $13.8 billion of direct, indirect, and induced economic output, $4.7 billion of wage income, and over 167,000 jobs in 2007. It's also an economic development tool used locally. We spoke with Keith Norton, Team Volusia CEO, about the role this tournament plays in economic development.
It's been a very effective tool for us because as we always go out to face-to-face meetings with C-level executives across the country and globally, as well as national site location consultants, it's always better to have them come here, kick the dirt, see all of our advantages that are available for businesses. It's a great opportunity to showcase Volusia County lifestyle. It's a great place for business, but just being on the course here today and bringing in our visitors from around the U.S. for this tournament, it's a great opportunity for us to showcase what Volusia County has and LPGA offers to the community.
And golf is responsible for contributing about $3.5 billion annually to charities across the country, more than any other sporting activity.
Thanks for joining us today at LPGA. I'm Michelle Coates with the Business Beat.
Although we've had a mild hurricane season so far, it's important not to let your guard down. In Florida, a disaster can strike at any moment. Medical reporter Stefany has more on how you can stay prepared.
Broadcasts will be interrupted for immediate transmission of severe weather information as soon as it is issued.
Hurricane season runs from June to November. Hurricanes produce heavy rain, strong winds, flooding, major damage. There may also be injuries and death. You are strongly encouraged to have an emergency plan to protect your family if a hurricane strikes.
When hurricanes come, we can see them coming, and it's pretty easy to run out and get batteries and flashlight and duct tape, but you really need to prepare ahead of time for your family and your pets. Where are you going to go? Where are your pets going to go when the hurricanes come?
If you are under a hurricane watch or warning, here are some basic steps to take to prepare for the storm. Learn about your community's emergency plans, warning signals, evacuation routes, and locations of emergency shelters. Identify potential home hazards and know how to secure or protect them before the hurricane strikes. Be prepared to turn off electrical power when there is standing water, fallen power lines, or before you evacuate. Turn off gas and water supplies before you evacuate. Secure structurally unstable building materials. Locate and secure your important papers, such as insurance policies, wills, licenses, stocks, etc. Post emergency phone numbers at every phone. Contact Volusia County Emergency Management to learn more about special needs shelters and to pre-register those who are elderly, bedridden, or anyone with a disability. And make plans to secure your pet's safety. In the event of a tropical storm or hurricane, you may need to evacuate your home. access to regular health and medical services may be temporarily limited. Ensure you are able to continue taking your medications by being prepared. For more information on hurricane preparedness, please visit www.floridadisaster.org. For Volusia Magazine and on behalf of the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County, I'm Public Information Officer Stefany Strong.
For more information about this or any other health-related issues, you can always log on to volusiahealth.com. Time now to head into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron and his guest, Director of the county's Corrections Division, Marilyn Chandler Ford.
Thank you, Amber, and hi, everyone. The county's Corrections Division is among the most expensive components of the county's budget. With an inmate population that can exceed 1,700 on some days, every person behind bars costs around $67 a day to house. And this expense comes right out of the county's general fund budget, which all Volusia County property owners fund. The county's corrections operation is among the more complex services the county provides. So today we'll find out what's involved with running a corrections facility. We're pleased to have with us in the studio today the Director of the county's Corrections Division, Marilyn Chandler Ford. Marilyn, how are you today?
I'm great, Dave. How about you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for being with us. We like to talk with you at least once a year because this is a major responsibility for county government that really we don't have an awful lot of flexibility in. Hey, for those people that are not familiar with the county's corrections operation, give us kind of a general overview of your operation.
Okay, well, first of all, some people may not even know where we're located.
Which is a good thing,
right?
Unless you're there.
But when you need to find us, we're midway between Daytona and DeLand on US 92, about 4 miles west of I-95. And there's 2 institutions, the correctional facility, Volusia County Correctional Facility, and the Volusia County Branch Jail. The branch jail is our receiving facility, so if anyone does need to come out to go to court or post a bond, that's where they would go to. We hold 2 categories of offenders: pre-trial, those are people that have been arrested, aren't yet convicted, and they're considered just like a person in the free world in terms of how we have to treat them, and they're innocent until proven guilty. Then the second group would be all the people that are convicted, but we hold only those that get county sentences, which means a sentence of under 1 year. So we have misdemeanors and felons, as well as males and females, and we have juveniles that are transferred from the juvenile court for very serious offenses and prosecuted as adults.
Marilyn, you have what's called an authorized capacity, the number of inmates that I guess you're authorized to house. And what is that number?
1494.
Okay, so I said at the opening here that at times we have been at least over 1,700. Doesn't happen a lot, but you've been. So what does that mean?
Well, actually our year-to-date population is 1514. So I've been running over capacity for the majority of time. We were as high as 1,600 this summer, and we've been a little bit lower. Today, actually, we're about 1,420. A year ago, we were 1,700. So we have been varying between 1,400, just about our capacity, all the way to overcapacity.
And what's interesting, and I think almost remarkable, is the fact that the branch jail opened somewhere around the mid-1980s, I think it was, and you really haven't expanded the number of cells since the time that facility is open, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Actually, we did expand slightly because it was originally designed for single celling, and we achieved the increased capacity by double celling. But you're right, there's been no new construction. In fact, I've been with the division since 1988. I was hired to do population planning because they were expecting that we were overcrowded at the time and we'd need a new jail in early 1990s. Volusia County really nationally is known as a success, and a lot of that has to do with the Public Safety Coordinating Council, which is authorized by state statute, but not every county has one. We've had one since the mid-1980s when we were in a crowded situation. And the chief judge is on it, the prosecutor, the state's attorney, probation and parole, and corrections. And we all work together to make sure the criminal justice system moves cases along so people aren't just sitting in jail pre-trial.
Marilyn, one of the things that it's important to talk about, particularly at this time of the year, which is budget season, the county council is, by the time we air this, will have adopted next year's budget. And your budget is, I guess, around what, $34 million?
Yes.
Right out of the county's general fund, which means that all property owners in Volusia County pay into the county's general fund, and $34 million of those dollars goes to the corrections operation. So it really is one of the county's major responsibilities. Why is it, I mean, what goes into making up this $34 million? Why is it this much money?
Well, you have to realize 1,500 people every day. In 2 buildings. We're like a small city. We have everything from food to recreation to mail to visits to telephone. So we've got to do that for 1,500 people.
Right.
We have to provide medical care.
Round the clock, too.
That's correct.
Right.
So most people, I think, understand a school and how busy that can be. Well, if they understand that's really only open 9 months of the year, about 10 to 12 hours a day, and not on weekends, we've got a jail that's operating around the clock 365 days a year. Certainly, a large part of our budget, just like most people's budget, is manpower, it's personnel.
Sure.
But in terms of the things that we're obligated to provide, we have to provide uniforms, food, medical care. It's a big enterprise.
And like just about every division in the county, you've done your part to be conservative with the dollars. Your budget is actually less today than it was a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
And how have you managed to do that, Marilyn? Obviously, you have a certain core responsibility that you have to do. So how have you been able to do that?
Well, in previous years, we held some positions vacant. And we were able to do that. But as our population went up, last year 1,700, this year 1,600. We've had to fill positions, and we still are running overtime as we can't quite fill positions as quickly as we'd like. But largely, we have a 5-year plan in terms of equipment we want to buy, things we need to do with the building, and we've put the brakes on that. And I'll tell you, one building is 26 years old and the other one is 36 years old. And for example, the branch jail, that's the one that's from 1986, it's got the original roof. There were problems when it was built. We've done a little bit of repairs, but we're coming to the point we've got to redo that.
Sure.
At the correctional facility, they have the same electrical panels, and about 3 months ago, their lightning strike came in, got the electrical panels. They had to go to Arizona and Colorado to get the replacement parts because that's a 37-year-old electrical panel.
Wow.
So we're coming to the point where a lot of the capital parts of the building, the PA system is original to the building, so it doesn't sound as good as it can.
Right.
We really have put off making those repairs, and we're coming to the point where we're going to need to make them in the coming years. In fact, even in this year, we haven't got much for capital repairs. That's how we've achieved the efficiencies, but it's something we're not going to be able to continue to do. And even if you just think about the equipment I need, washers and dryers, electric mixers, ovens, you know, I'm doing 4,500 meals at least a day. That's a lot to be putting out.
No question. You mentioned that the county is responsible for medical care once your inmates come into your facility. Tell us about medical care. I mean, how does that work? I mean, in terms of how you manage that. I mean, if someone comes in, for example, and all of a sudden they have a heart attack, I guess you're responsible for it. I mean,
we are.
You, the taxpayers.
What most people don't realize is a fair number of our population have very poor health. When they're out on their street or their lifestyle, they're just not taking care of their health. So they come into us and they may have aggravated problems. The other thing is they may have things they know they need to address, and perhaps we're addressing, but now that they're in our care, we're responsible for them. The laws do not provide, if you're on Medicaid or Medicare outside, when you become incarcerated, that stops.
Wow.
It becomes the county's responsibility.
Wow.
So our medical costs are about $7 million, and everybody that comes in gets an initial physical, then they get a complete one, and we have to do that by standards within 14 days. And that's where they might be informed of diabetes, hypertension, even such things as cavities, that they poor diet, they haven't, taken care of their teeth. Those are all things we have to provide for them. Inmates do pay a copay for medical visits and prescriptions. However, if they don't have any money, they're not denied services, obviously, and I would say a fair amount of our people are indigent. But we do try and have a copay wherever possible, and certainly mental health services, x-rays, women that are pregnant, they all become our responsibility.
Do you have any responsibility or any programs for rehabilitation? I mean, a lot of your customers come back. Are there any programs or any way that you try to avoid people coming back? Is that, or is your responsibility just to house people?
Well, technically our responsibility is to house people and keep them safe, but we believe that it does make sense to offer them things that are productive while they're there, because it keeps them out of trouble, but it also benefits when they go back out. Personally, I think education is one of the best things we can do. There's been some studies that show that if you can get your GED, you're going to get a higher salary, a better job when you get out. So we have that. We do have a drug treatment program. We have religious, faith-based programs, and the churches in the community are very active, and many of them will see people attend their services when they get out. So those are all very positive, pro-social things. We have a parenting program, we have life skills, so we do offer some of those. The problem is the length of stay at the jail is so short that many people will start on something and then they get out before they can finish it. Well, we encourage them, certainly, for example, with education, they can continue at DSC, at the education program there. We don't always know whether they follow through or not.
Well, Marilyn, I want to thank you for sharing the information. I was sitting here listening to you, and I think I'm correct on this. When you add up all of the movements of prisoners, coming in, coming out, and all of that, there's an awful lot of paperwork, an awful lot of tracking that has to take place. It's in the hundreds of thousands, is it not?
That's correct. With about 30,000 admissions and about 30,000 releases. So for every single person that comes in, even one piece of paper to get them in and to get them out is 60,000, but we're talking in the hundreds of thousands.
Absolutely. Our guest today, Marilyn Chandler Ford, she's the director of the county's Corrections Division, and with that, we'll go back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you too for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or simply log on to volusia.org. In fact, you can even catch the show online. For this and more, just select the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. In general, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. In fact, you can even check out the County Council's meeting calendar there too. And last, we hope you don't forget to tune into Volusia Today. It's Volusia County Government's weekly radio broadcast, and it airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a great evening.